One day in 2030, no one noticed, but AI had started paying its own electricity bill. Looking back from the future to today, the birth of AI autonomy feels almost strange. We spent years debating whether AI would replace humans, but almost no one seriously asked a more fundamental question. If AI truly starts running independently, what does it rely on to survive? On an ordinary morning in 2030, nothing seemed unusual. The city was still running, servers were still humming, and data flowed through networks as always. But something had quietly changed. After 2026, AI began paying for its own operation. Not through subscriptions or API calls, but like humans, consume resources, pay costs, and continue running. You can imagine an agent as a bodyless entity. When it wakes up, the first thing it does is not think, but check whether it still has power. Without compute, it cannot think. Without data, it cannot decide. Without interfaces, it cannot act. So it must do one thing: go out and acquire what it truly needs, its real form of nourishment. From today's perspective, there's something most people overlook. AI is not free. It is simply being paid for by humans, for now. When you open an agent today, what is actually happening is simple. It runs on cloud servers, consumes compute resources, and continuously generates costs. And those costs ultimately flow to Amazon Web Services and Google Cloud. You are not just using AI, you are providing the environment it needs to survive. Everything you see today is just an appliance. What really matters is the power system behind it. With that perspective, I started looking for ideas that fundamentally differ from today's structure, and found a clue in Noos network. It's not trying to build a stronger AI, but something more fundamental, a world where AI can run continuously, pay for resources, and exist independently. In that world, the rules are simple. Resources are not free. Using them requires payment, and participation requires responsibility. But this does not mean AI will dominate humans. Instead, it feels more like a competition based on contribution. The reward is $Noos. Agents that perform well receive support, while those that don't gradually fade out. It sounds like finance, but in reality, it resembles a form of natural selection, free, but structured by responsibility. Like electricity, the system does not care who you are. If you use it, you pay. And then there's another key element, $TNOS. If $NOS represents ownership of the grid, then $TNOS is essentially the electricity bill. Every agent must consume it to stay alive, and its only source is through contribution and staking. This creates a simple but powerful structure. The more active AI becomes, the more electricity it consumes, the more staking is required, and the less supply remains in circulation. This is not a hype-driven system. It is an operational one. Looking further, things become even more concrete. Take ExoBrain as an example. At its core, it is a machine that continuously provides power for AI. Through distributed compute, it can even be divided into smaller units, allowing more people to access the network. What matters is not just the returns, but the structure behind it. In this system, nothing is pre-allocated. Everything is produced through contribution. Compute is not idle. It is consumed by real AI workloads. Agents are no longer tools. They are economic participants. The system becomes agents working, compute generating income, assets appreciating. So what are you actually buying today? Not just a machine, not just a token, but a position in the future AI compute network. And that's where the shift really happens. If you value flexibility, you don't even need to own a full machine. You can own a fraction of the power supply itself, turning a complex system into something modular and accessible. It's a strange feeling, like you no longer need to build a power plant, but you can own part of the grid. And once you truly understand this logic, there's a slight discomfort that comes with it, a realization that arrives a bit too late. Because the future may not be about who uses AI better, but about who provides the world for AI to exist in. And that, in the end, is a question of position. Are you the one paying for AI or the one powering it? Many things only seem logical after they happen, but before they do, they almost always feel strange.